All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I like to say peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. And today, it's April 8th, 2024, Missile Monday. Excuse me, Slakia. And I have this this article from Daily Mail, and it says nuclear war so devastating survivors will envy the dead as newly declassified documents reveal what Armageddon will look like, how a lightning attack from North Korea will leave a U.S. president 6 minutes to decide the fate of the world. So, I'm just going to go into this article, bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And before I get into this article, man, as we know, today was, the solar eclipse that took happen, earlier today, at least here in Michigan, it got dark around, a little after 3 p.m., and it was somewhat of a sight to see, because as we know, we already know what it's about, man. This solar eclipse is pretty much signaling, the end of America, man. Pretty much this kingdom going down, and, these people are pretty much unaware, just like it says in Jeremiah 10, to be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, to not fear these things, man. But, these people are scared, and also I want to mention, to the followers that are following that false King David, Yahweh Shai clearly was not coming back today, man, because it clearly states in Matthew 24:36 that no man knoweth the day or hour, man. Not even the angels know, not even Yahweh Shai himself knows when he is going to return to this earth to pour out that judgment, man. Only the Heavenly Father knows, man. So if there are any sincere brothers and sisters that are following, that false prophet, man, and you want the 100% truth, watch Great Millstone, man. To the women, that have husbands, learn from your husbands, have him watch the videos if he's in the truth, and, just be in order, stay in silence, man. And then to the men, get built up and, do the work, man, because, you're not going to get saved just from, Shalom and Khan and T-shirts with fringes, man. No, you got to work for this, man. We all have to put in work, as far as the men, but that's enough on that guy for now, because, I'm still waiting to see what he's going to say, and he hasn't posted a video, but we'll see, come tomorrow. But I'm just going to get into it, man. So it says, nuclear war begins with a blip on a radar screen. It is 4:03 a.m. in a seemingly barren field 20 miles outside the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. A massive cloud of fire erupts just feet off the ground as the country's most powerful intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, is launched, known as the Monster. It begins its accent, and man, like the particular names that, these nations or, these dictators in particular, like Vladimir Putin, he has, those missiles, the Sarmat missiles, known as, the Satan II, Kim Jong-un, he has an ICBM known as the Monster, man. And these particular names, this isn't a coincidence, man, because these missiles are going to do a lot of damage, man. They're going to do a whole lot of damage, So let's continue. It says, hovering 22,300 miles above Earth, Sensors from the U.S. Defense Department satellite systems spot the fire from the missile's hot rocket exhaust. The system alarm goes off. Ballistic missile launch alert. Ballistic missile launches are not uncommon. As a general rule, nuclear-armed nations inform one another of ballistic missiles, usually via diplomatic back channels, because no one wants to start a nuclear war by accident. Even Russia continues to notify the U.S. of its test launches. The exception is North Korea. None of the more than 100 missiles it has test launched since January 2022, including nuclear-capable weapons, was announced beforehand. Says 1 to 5 seconds after launch. Some of the fastest computer systems in the world began calculating the dimensions of the ICBM's fiery plume. Measurements reveal the missile is not heading into space as it would be for a satellite launch or towards the Sea of Japan. It is a commonplace and a test. Is this a provocative test or a nuclear attack? A vast worldwide network of U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets begins churning out information. In Colorado, combat pilots run towards fighter jets waiting on the tarmac, ready to take to the air. 15 seconds after launch, the ICBM has traveled far enough for satellite sensors to determine its trajectory. More precisely, the outlook is catastrophic. The monster is traveling towards the continental U.S. 2 minutes after launch, says beneath the Pentagon, inside the nuclear command bunker, the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff take charge. Once ground radars provide secondary confirmation that an attacking missile is on its way to the East Coast, a perilous nuclear warfighting strategy comes to the fore. Launch on warning. Again, man, as you can see, these missiles have specific targets, man. And as you can see, it says the East Coast. As we know, certain cities and states are hotspots, even though America is going to be destroyed as a whole, man. Certain cities in particular are hotspots, like New York City, man. New York City is a target for certain of these missiles because it said the East Coast, because New York City is definitely going to get hit, with these missiles. Certain of these missiles are being designed specifically to hit New York, Texas, this is serious, man. And people can be ignorant to the fact that nuclear war, is happening. They refuse to believe, that nuclear weapons are real. Well, you'll believe it when you're a part of it, man. When you're being burned by it, man. This is deadly serious right now, man. There are weapons being created to hit the specific state that you live in, man. Every state from New York to California is going to be on fire once these missiles hit, man. And they're telling you this. So I'm going to continue. It says, this means that once its early warning systems have warned of an impending attack, the U.S. will not wait to physically absorb a missile blow before launching its counterattack. And yeah, man, as you can see, it said in the headline, man, that if North Korea alone was to launch a missile at America, it would only give, the president 6 minutes to respond, and that's not enough time, man. He's only going to have one choice but to, retaliate and push the button right back, because again, man, these nations are gearing up for war, and it's not going to take that long for these missiles to get to America, man. 30 minutes at the most, 15 minutes at the least, man, because they're going to be traveling so fast. You know, says 3 minutes after launch, the president needs to be told he is in the White House dining room reading his briefing documents. The National Security Advisor rushes into the room, phone in hand, speaking from the bunker beneath the Pentagon. The Secretary of Defense tells the president North Korea has launched an attacking missile at the U.S. The president now faces an inexorably small decision-making window of time. What must happen next has been rehearsed by everyone in attendance on satellite comms except most likely the president himself. Like almost all U.S. presidents since John F. Kennedy, he is entirely uninformed about how to wage war. It's like about how to wage nuclear war when it happens. And, that's sad, man. Even though, every nuclear, it's like every U.S. president is a puppet. They're not, they're not even training these guys on what to do when nuclear war happens, man. It just told you in this article, man, they're uninformed or underinformed, man. So they won't know what to do exactly. The only thing they're going to have to do is respond by having the U.S. launch missiles right back, and that's it. That's going to be their only defense, at that point. Because the president is going to die just like everybody else, Only the elites, they're only going to escape, man. The elites of the nation of Edom and the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Those are the only groups that are going to escape this destruction, man. Everyone else is going to die. So it says he has no idea that as soon as he has been briefed on what is happening, he will only have 6 minutes to decide which nuclear weapons to launch in response. He's going to have to launch all of them, man. Every nuclear weapon that the U.S. has in stock, they're going to have to launch every single one. That's his only response. Push the button, Continuing on, it says, as Ronald Reagan lamented in his memoirs, 6 minutes to decide how to respond to a blip on the radar scope and decide whether to release Armageddon. How could anyone apply reason to a time like that? And you can't, man. That's not enough time to think. It's not. That's the only thing you're going to have time to do is push the button and do exactly what he said. Release Armageddon, man. It's going to be all out war, man. World War III is going to be the war to end all wars. This is why all these nations have these nuclear weapons, because they're all going to be used, man. None of them are going to be spared. Going back to Joel chapter 2, or just like chapter 3, man. Spare no arrows, man. None of these missiles are going to be spared, because once they're launched, there's not going to be any use for them anymore, man. Because the nations aren't going to learn war anymore after this, It says, and so in roughly the time it takes to brief a pot of coffee, the president will be asked to make a counterattack decision that would kill that could kill tens of millions of human beings on the other side of the world. Civilization could end within a matter of hours. And man, the U.S. president don't give a damn about, people over in the, these other countries, man. He don't give a damn. He only cares what's going on over here. And even then, he still don't care. But that's what's going to happen, man. Hundreds of millions of people may die. We don't know the exact body count, but understand that millions upon millions of people are going to die, man, because the current population in America is, 330 million, something like that. That's a lot of people, and we don't know exactly every country that's going to get hit with missiles, but for sure, America and the land of Israel are going to get hit, man. Russia is probably going to get hit. North Korea may get hit. China may get hit. But for sure, America is going to be completely destroyed. Israel is going to be destroyed. But the difference between the two, America is going to be left completely desolate. And the land of Israel will be built back up, And it says the National Security Advisor is working to get a North Korean official on the phone when he is knocked aside by the special agent in charge of protecting the president. Of all the people in the room prepared for crisis response, the Secret Service agents are amongst the best rehearsed. Slakia says, into the emergency bunker now. The special agent in charge shouts at the president. 2 members of the counter-assault team, CAT, grab him by his armpits. He does not yet fully comprehend all that is going on or how fast the counterattack must unfold. It says 9 minutes after launch at Clear Space Force Station in Alaska, the long-range discrimination radar gets its first sight of the attacking missile as it comes over the horizon. A member of the Air Force picks up the red phone in front of her. This is clear, she reports. Site report is valid. Number of objects is 1. The dreaded secondary confirmation of an attacking ICBM headed towards the East Coast has just been made. This facility in Alaska is one of 6 early warning ground radar facilities which have kept watch for nuclear attacks since the Cold War. Others are in California, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Greenland, and at the RAF Figlingdales on the North Yorkshire moors. Now begins the attempt at interception. A feat aching to shoot a bullet with a bullet, but 9 out of 20 hit to kill interceptor tests have failed, man. And again, it goes into that in the Joel chapter 2. They're going to try to shoot these other missiles, the attacking missiles down with counter missiles, but it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. It's going to fail. Whatever defense systems the U.S. has is going to ultimately fail, man. It's not going to work because, they're going to try to shoot, counter missiles at the attacking missiles, but they're not going to stop them. As it says, they're not going to break their rank, roughly paraphrasing, man. And it says, this means there's only a 55% chance that the monster will be shot down before it reaches its target. It won't be, so it's 100% chance it won't be shot down, man. It says, sure enough, the interception fails. So do 3 more consecutive attempts. The die is cast. It says 10 minutes after the launch. The president has been moved to a bunker beneath the east wing of the White House, which was originally built to hide President Roosevelt during World War II. Standing beside him is a military aide carrying the emergency satchel, an aluminum and leather bag containing the executive orders that can be put into effect when a nuclear attack comes to pass. Since the U.S. president has sole authority to launch his country's nuclear weapons, he asked the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff what he should do. It's a natural question to ask. No one but the madman would want to launch nuclear weapons of their own accord. The chairman tells the president that he, as chairman, is a part of the chain of communication. not the chain of command for authorizing a nuclear launch. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff only gives advice. Advise me, the president commands. The Secretary of Defense urges him to consult his counterparts in Russia and China. Others around him are more focused on getting him to launch the counterattack, to retaliate, to decapitate. And that's exactly what they're going to do, man. Depending on whoever's going to be president during World War III, man, that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to have, someone in his ear, trying to talk to Russia and China, but it's going to be too late at that point, man. The others are going to be telling him, man, just, shoot counter missiles, man. Retaliate. But again, man, it's all gonna fail anyway, man. So again, the US president is gonna die too. It says the Secretary of Defense urges caution, voicing what everyone fears but no one else dares to say. To launch now, all but guarantees a wider war. There is no way of knowing if an incoming ballistic missile is a spoof designed to trick the president into launching nuclear war, or even if the warhead is armed with nuclear weapons. The president reaches into his wallet for the laminated nuclear codes card he must carry with him at all times. The biscuit in national security terms. The bunker's doors fly open. 10 counter-assault teams armed with SR-16 gas-operated air-cooled carbines and AR-15 assault rifles burst into the room. They rush to the president, grab him by the armpits, with his feet no longer touching the ground. Slovakia. Damn. Slovakia, bear with me. Okay, so pretty much the exact article I had was lost, man. But either way it goes, is pretty much going into, a scenario of what would happen if nuclear war were to take place, which it is going to take place. But, it's pretty much telling you what exactly the president would do, if this were to happen, man. So I'm just going to get straight into it, man. Bring out a few scripts. So, as always, I'm going to start in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, and verse 16. And it says, Behold, I have created the smith that Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And yeah, man, it's talking about these ICBM missiles, man, that are being created specifically for this war that is going to take place, man. Because again, pursuing Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, man, which I want to get, man, wars were, traditionally fought, with hand-to-hand combat, man. But this particular war is going to be fought with, nuclear weapons, man. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, and it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And yeah, man, this is how this war is going to be fought. This is how World War III is going to be fought, man, with nuclear weapons, man. These different nations shooting missiles at each other, that's that burning and fuel of fire, man. So I'm going to get the book of Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1. And it says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and all and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." And yeah, man, that's the day that's coming, man. The day of the Lord is going to be terrible, because once the Lord comes back, man, it's not going to be, a good day, as it, describes in, many different chapters, in different books, man. The day of the Lord is going to be a day of darkness and of gloominess, man. The Lord is coming back to pour out his judgment upon this earth, man. It's not going to be a good day, for the inhabitants of the earth, man. It's not at all. So I'm going to get the book of Zephaniah chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 14. And it says, "The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the defense, against the fenced cities and against the high towers." And yeah, man, that's describing the day of the Lord, man. It's going to be terrible. It's not going to be good, because the Lord is angry, man, and he's coming back to bring fire upon this earth, man. And I'm going to grab that. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 49, and it says, "I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it already be kindled?" And yes, that's exactly what the Lord is coming back to do, to send fire upon this earth by way of those ICBM missiles, and the fire, that concentrated fire, the laser beams from the chariots, man. The Lord isn't playing, and people don't understand that's the time that we're coming into, man. A very serious time. And I was going to get it, but for the sake of time, because in the article it also, mentioned, what happened, after nuclear war, pretty much, that nuclear fallout, man. Now, we don't know exactly what these other countries, and places are going to look like after this war, because America, is going to be burned up. These other nations are going to mourn, America, pursuant to Revelation chapter 18, these other nations that have, gotten rich, from selling their goods to America, they won't be able to make any money anymore. They're going to see the smoke of her burning from afar off. Those merchant ships that bring in their goods from, their countries, they won't be able to do that anymore, man. So they're going to mourn because America's going to be on fire. Then after that fire dies down, Isaiah 34 is describing exactly how America will look after that destruction. Man, is going to be completely desolate. No man will ever inhabit this land again. Only desert creatures. So that's the time that we're in, man. We're in a time of war. And just like I mentioned that camp, man, and I'm going to keep mentioning it, where it's wartime, man. It's wartime. It's not the time to be out here playing, because things are serious, man. It's real out here, and it's only going to get realer, man. So we're just getting closer and closer to the day of the Lord, So that's pretty much it for this one. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the artists of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.